we both embarked on pretty ambitious journeys in 2023. I have a project coming here soon, in a matter of a month or two, and you're going to go film a project in a matter of a month in San Juan, Puerto Rico, correct?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that project. I want to know how you came about creating this project, what decided you to even get started, and where you guys at now, and where you hope to be.
No, for sure. Last year, I approached my first ever screenwriting teacher, and I told him, actually, he approached me with a short project. He's like, hey, do you want to be a part of this? We're looking for people to put capital in it, yada, yada, yada. I looked at it. It was a cool project, but I just wasn't interested in it, and I said no. Because I'm actually looking to shoot my own project, a feature film of some sort. And after that conversation, I had the fortunate opportunity to PA on a set. And I was talking to the executive producer of the music video, which I was a PA for. And he just sat down and just started talking to me. Gave me some really good game, gave me some really great advice. You know, he said, Josh, as an actor, you need to be making projects. You need to be making feature projects that sell you as an actor. He says you need to either be the lead role or you need to be the support of the lead role in this movie. And he recommended going with a horror movie or a sci-fi movie because those are the movies that sell. He says, you know how many scripts I get with these great scripts, but I can't do anything with them because they're just dramas. He says people are great writers, but they're not writing the right type of project. You know, but that's beside the point. What I'm trying to say is that he kicked off the idea in my head, or he inserted the idea in my head that I need to make a horror sci-fi movie. It can have elements of like drama and comedy.
Of course.
So I went back to my friend Charles, and I was like, hey man, can you write me a movie, a horror movie, super low budget, minimal locations, something that's be very cost effective for me to star in. So then he just got back from Puerto Rico. And as a writer himself, while he was in Puerto Rico, he was already coming up with an idea for a movie.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like the stars kind of aligned. We clicked and we came up with the idea of Cayman about a young man while vacationing in Vieques with his girlfriend. His wife was murdered by this creature that can only be described as a Cayman. He comes back super depressed. He loses everything. It's big news. And now he's going back to that island to go find the creature with his best friend, to go find the creature, to go kill it. And that's where the basis of that came from, was just us coming together. He came up with the idea of a monster on this island. And I think the main motivation for the movie was that he said that, dude, Vieques, Puerto Rico, the island outside of San Juan, he's like, dude, it'll be easy to film something here. Super easy. There's not a lot of tourists. Cops don't bother you like here or in the States. Cops don't bother you. It's like, dude, you could totally film something here. It's quiet. And then that's when he started coming up with the idea of Cayman and everything. And I came in with my own input. You know, we made it found footage. There's never been a found footage movie with a black lead in it. So that's a big selling point that we're going with. And the script, dude, solid, man. He's an industry writer. We've shared the script with many other people. They all loved it, not just like your friends, but like other writers as well.
Of course.
I shared it with my writing mentor at the time, and he said and he's a big horror fan, big horror psychological thriller. He says it's a solid script. Just need to go out and film it. And then, you know, the ball started rolling. We brought in my friend Roberto. Roberto brought in his really good friend Joseph, who owns his own production house in Chicago called Luminate Studios. He's actually commented on some of our YouTube videos. Shout out to you, Joseph.
Yep.
But Joseph has been probably the biggest. I think Joseph is the biggest asset to this project. Because not only is he the cinematographer, but he's a director. And he's just come with so many great ideas. He has come with so much great knowledge and resources, and it just helped the project so much that we would not be this far along without him.
Wow.
And if you go, and dude, he mixes beats. He does post-production. He does everything. He's actually starting to move more into narrative work because he wants to create his own narrative projects.
The camera operator and the actor in this?
Yep. So there is me and Roberto. We're the two co-leads, and Joseph is the guy that's videotaping it.
Right.
So he's behind the camera. You don't see him too much, but he's also directing the movie, and he's also editing the movie. And him and his team we're keeping the project in-house as far as editing and everything.
Right. Right.
But so if I would have never brought in Roberto, and if Joseph would have never liked the project, you know what I mean? Because he's very particular with who he works with and everything. But
Right.
he has been a huge asset to the company that, 50 Miles East is the name of the production company for the project. And he's been a huge asset for the production and the company as well. So yeah, that's how that all came together, just building that team. And now we're almost here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing, man. It's an amazing story. And so, you met the writer.
4 years ago. I met the writer when I first moved to Chicago, like right outside Chicago. He was my first ever screenwriting teacher.
Okay, and so where did the PA come in? When you're doing PA work, where the guy you meet there come in handy? He just kind of kicked off the inspiration?
Yeah, he really kicked off the inspiration because I was asking him for advice.
Gotcha.
Because, I'm an actor out here in LA. I see the rat race. It's like,
Yeah.
how do I not become a slave to the rat race? Because there's a race that we all have to run, but how do I not just become a slave to that? And he was the one that kicked off the idea to me that, not even kicked off the idea, he put me on game. He said, Josh, as an actor, you need to know how to sell yourself to these big studios. So how do you do that? You need to make a movie, $100,000 maximum for your first movie. He said, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, just do it.
Right.
And he said, stick it with horror sci-fi because those can be bad movies, but they can still sell.
Right.
But he says, you need to know how to sell yourself. You need to prove yourself to these studios that you can sell yourself. He says a mistake that a lot of actors make is that they try to sell themselves with short films. And he says the thing about short films is that you can't sell them.
Yep, you can't distribute them.
You can't distribute. Exactly. That's a better way of putting it. And he also said that with short films, you could play the festival game. And there's nothing wrong with that. Playing the festival game, getting awards and all that
I
stuff.
would never do it.
No, but he said there's nothing wrong with it though. But he says that if you want to know how to sell yourself as an actor, and if you want to sell yourself as an actor, you need to make a feature film.
Right.
He said his first feature film, he paid $23,000 for it. And it was a zombie film. He says, dude, it wasn't great. But guess what? I was able to sell it and distribute it.
Right.
And now I'm a full-time executive. He's a full-time filmmaker.
Right.
He owns a company out here, or co-owns it, called Los Angeles Studios. And dude, that advice that he gave me, because I hated PAing. I hated doing it. And I was like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why the universe has put me here. And then I meet this guy. He just randomly starts talking to me, giving me some great game, dude. And I'll remember that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So what were some of the challenges you faced? I know economically, there's a lot goes into film.
Yeah.
Right? And I know typically for most filmmakers for the first time, they put their own money in. How's that experience been? Has it been overwhelming, or have you been able to regulate that and move forward?
It has definitely been, I wouldn't say overwhelming. It's been stressful. You know what I mean? I thought I was going to be able to go out there, find an investor, yada, yada, yada. But I remember I went to this networking event where investors were, and I was the first one there. And the guy there told me, listen, after I told him my idea, he's like, listen, you're not going to find an investor. And I was like, why not? Because it's your first ever project. You're not going to find one. He's like, I recommend going the crowdfunding way, or you're going to have to self-finance it. And me, I was just like, okay, whatever. And that's really what wound up happening, is that I had to put my own capital into it. And not going to say the amount, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
And luckily I have a job in the free time where I'm able to afford to do that.
Yeah.
And I see why a lot of people don't get started, because it is very expensive.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think you said it best earlier. You got to be crazy to be a part of this business. And
Yeah.
the fortune favors the bold, man, at the end of the day.
Fail quickly.
Exactly.
Fail quickly. If you're going to put all this money into a feature film, do it at 28 opposed to 58.
38 or
Or 48 or 38 or even 29.
or even exactly.
Put it, do it today. And it's not about age, guys. It's about the power of now, right? The power of yesterday. So let's go ahead and start now.
And I've been kind of having a little bit of a regret, not with the movie, but I created two of my own projects, two of my own short films before. One was I paid for both of them completely. One was a project that I wrote.
How much it cost?
It cost me only $3,000. This was back in 2019.
Okay.
filmed it in Chicago, got a bunch of students involved. Yeah, got a director who was willing to work for free. Ever used my own, that's when I had the Sony A7 III, had like 3 to 4 different lenses, shot that project. Another project I shot, another guy wrote it. He completely, he did all the equipment and everything. I just had to pay for it. That's what I did. And I helped with the writing as well. But this is the first big project that I've had, you know what I mean, after those 2 before. And it's like completely night and day as far as the type of project that it is. And like you said, dude, one regret that I have, my bad, going back to topic, one regret that I have was that, dude, I wish I could have did this, like made this feature film when I was like 20 or 21 or 22, you know what I mean? But it's just like where I was in my life, and just I just didn't have that. I just didn't have it yet, you know what I mean? Luckily, I was able to develop it like 6-7 years later, but I just didn't have it before. And I've been having regrets saying, oh, I wish I could have done this when I was 25 versus 28. But you know, I said this to you before, Confucius said it best. He said the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So I'm glad I'm doing this now. I'm glad that I'm taking the risk. It's worth it. It is definitely 1,000% worth it, man. I could not imagine if I wasn't doing this, if I wasn't making this movie, what would I be doing?
Exactly.
I'd be in the rat race just like everyone else.
You know, you're taking this time to try to separate yourself from the herd.
Yeah.
That's what I do every morning when I wake up. I make sure to dedicate to living a life that I want to live, one by design. And in due time, that will separate you from the pack in a way that's complementary.
I agree.
We wish you much success on Cayman, the feature film. And when it comes out, we're gonna make sure to keep sharing about it, so more people get a chance to tune in.
Exactly.
This is Black Hollywood.
Go be great, guys.
Go be great.
Just one more time. Black man, stat man, black man, stat man, that man. Jumping up and I sing, jumping up and I sing. Black man, stat man. Keep going up, keep climbing up that ramp. Black man, they hating your skin. What? How can they hate you and want you dead but still wanna replicate you? They try to paint you as a villain when you a black man, and the public eats it up like they Pac-Man. They also try to paint you as a villain when you Batman, cause the whole world knows one thing, that you that man. Black man, whew, whew. Black man, they'll try to change the goalposts, change the stats, man, and try to bring it